Hello and welcome back to Kina K's channel. We're winning. Make America great again. The president has done a lot of tremendous good for the country, and we have the Democrats procrastinating as usual. They're still stuck on him even winning as the presidency. I like to talk about Roe versus Wade. When we were voting in the governor in the state of New York, you had people bringing up Roe versus Wade, which I thought did not make a lot of sense. And to me, it's nothing but the attorney tactic. They like to have ammo, plenty of ammo actually, to keep the people busy on bullshit. But the fact of the matter is that the Republican Party is actually trying to save children in my community, the minorities, the ones that are having the most abortions, Latina and African American, more so African American. I witnessed a female have up to 13 abortions, and that is not a form of birth control, and it's being abused. You have birth control pills. We had a functional Medicare system, Medicaid, before Obama. Let's get that clear. He made a system that even the systems couldn't figure it out. He just pretty much, I guess, gave medical to any and everyone. Um, if you are under the poverty level, you can apply for free benefits. That was already in place, and there was nothing wrong with it. And far as personal experiences with people I know and my own personal family, I had my grandmother before she passed, and she didn't like Obamacare. Um, my mother, she didn't like Obamacare. And I even interviewed my own neighbor about it because he wanted to argue with me about the Obamacare. And so I asked him a simple question. I said, "Have you ever used it?" And he said, "No." So I didn't even understand why he was putting up a fight. So I guess for some, it's more about, oh, he did something. Yeah, he did something, but that something did not help us. It hurt us. It was a broken system from the beginning. Back to Roe versus Wade, the Democratic Party love to give free abortions to minorities on taxpayer dollars, late term abortions, and reproductive health act. Sorry about that. Reproductive Health Act purely means, and this is in the state of New York, and that's why I feel that Andrew Cuomo is a racist against the minorities, because he don't want to see little children like me born. And I will explain. This Roe versus Wade in New York State means that a man can kick a pregnant woman in the stomach, and if that child, baby, or fetus dies, no matter what term, the man will no longer be charged murder one or murder two. He will only get an assault charge. And that's what Andrew Cuomo put in place. So why you guys, the Democrats, following this here man, because they're paying you to make a big circus of things and confuse you and whatnot, the Democratic leadership, male leadership, are afraid of us being the majority. So they love to sponsor that shit. And the Democratic male speaks with a forked tongue. It's just like the Indians with the smallpox. It's the same exact thing. And I am appalled and I am sickened by this. I'm offended. And I don't understand why all these Democrats that supported this bull crap or support Andrew Cuomo is all on his page for. Do you not understand that you can have your child killed in your stomach and you will no longer, it's now removed. It's not a murder charge. It is just an assault. And I will provide that information. Now let's move on to Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Maxine Waters, Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer. These individuals, let's start with Kamala Harris. Now, I truly don't understand why would she make a whole law against lynching. We, as Americans throughout America, do not have a problem with lynching. But she will, and Cory Booker and the rest of them will spew that unnecessary drama and even come up with this whole Smollett, dramatic scene so that everyone can be outraged. And the fact is, that's a minority, minority community. There ain't no racists there. So that caught up with them. And after that caught up with them, I actually saw a clip of Kamala Harris meeting up with another fake one, Al Sharpton. Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson, they are on my shit list. They've been on my shit list for years. I've sat back and watched them for years. Every time something happens in the communities of the minorities, they wait till everything is calmed down. And then they come forward like they're the freaking savior or something, like they've done something. And to me, that is just to shut the people up. It's a game that they play. They are really for the leadership of the Democratic Party. And, instead of worrying about, some lynching thing, because see, it's an attorney tactic. See, they use these words, it's how they use the words. And it gets in your brain and it feeds that unnecessary bullcrap to you. So when you use the term lynching, everybody get all the panties in a bunch and, oh my goodness, and all the slavery days and all that whack job shit. The fact is, majority of Americans aren't racist. If there are, they're very small when you talk about numbers. And then I also witnessed in Texas when the flooding, happened, you had, the ignorant ones going on YouTube channels and doing their videos and claiming that, the rescue team was skipping the African Americans and they were doing this and that. And I thought to myself, anytime there is a tragic experience, disaster, natural disaster, people come together and they help each other. I've seen all walks of life. Doesn't matter what your background is, they will help. So I knew it was a fabrication. There's just this group of people that keep trying to brainwash you guys because a lot of you haven't traveled or went outside your communities. So you really wouldn't know. And if everybody keeps saying the same thing for years on end, then you're programmed to actually believe it. So in the other states, and mind you, like I said, when the governor ran, Andrew Cuomo versus Mark Millinaro, that's when they brought up Roe versus Wade. I don't think it was an accident that now Alabama, Georgia, and the other states that are starting to deal with it. Um, that's actually a good thing, and that's the Republican Party. They're trying to stop the killing of minorities. I don't see anything wrong with that, considering that there's major gun violence from gangs and just stupid people, and that goes on a regular basis. Uh, a whole lot in Chicago, Los Angeles, all over the place. And then on top of that, you have some bad officers that, in my opinion, either are not trained and too scary. They don't know the people. They're just going based off what the news is. And sometimes the news is just reporting, just bad things when there's a lot of great things going on. So they're, fast to react. And then you have them on top of it, the ones that are bad and scary, and because they're scared of people like myself. So they pull the trigger. So when you have gang violence, stupid people violence, and uh, bad officers killing on a regular basis, then you want to top it off when we are the highest rate of abortions? I'm sorry, but I'm with the Republican Party, and they're trying to save our lives to come. I like to just repeat the names again of the individuals that are with the madness and keeping things the same without any change in our communities, and trying to continue to keep this whole race baiting drama thing. And CNN, oh God, they are the worst when it comes to racism. They are the racist news station I have ever watched. I've been watching them for years, and I sit there and you know, me and my husband were fussing, or I'm fussing at the TV because I can see through the bull crap. Every time they want to describe something great or anything to do with my complexion, they're, well, black, this and that, and the black, this and that, and the African American. And if you're not giving an APB out as to why some crime has happened and you need to give a description, I don't see the point in bringing up my color. And then you had Don Lemon. I can't stand him. He is the most divisive person that keeps racism up in America. He works very well as a puppet. You know, let's pull those strings. And then he has the audacity to say, my people. I never said my people, and I don't holler, oh, I'm this and oh, I'm that. I just do. It's always the ones hollering something, and old black pride and you know, all this other crap. They do a lot of talking. Also in the state of New York, also in the state of New York, any practitioner with a 2-year degree can perform the abortions. It's not a doctor, and in actuality, it's only 6 months. Yes, 6 months of schooling. So, yes, Kamala Harris have been supporting this whole agenda thing, trying to keep people mentally enslaved because you gotta remember that it's all this racism in America. You know, it's so much racism that they have to actually create it for you and dramatize it and whatnot. Cory Booker, Maxine Waters, Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, and obviously Andrew Cuomo. So that was my news. And signing off, hit the subscribe button, and thanks for listening. Let's make America great again and our community safe, like Mr. President Donald J. Trump said. He didn't say anything offensive. He said what was the truth. And if you don't fit in that category and you're a good, uh, abiding citizen, then it doesn't apply to you. I don't know why everyone these days are so freaked out when someone tells them the truth. And you're making, the real people have to bite their tongue because, next thing you know, they're going to pull up some dirt on you, or they're going to have some, woman coming out saying that you sexually harassed them like 50 years ago. So I don't believe in that liberal woman agenda. And we need to keep speaking our minds and telling the truth and being active. So yes, I represent the communities all throughout United States, and we need safe communities, and we need to do our part in doing so. And we need to start reporting crimes, and we need to report, you witness a murder, report it. Get the license plate. Call it in and put up the fight. If you're not going to report these things, but on the other hand, you want to complain, they're not even willing to solve any of the murders in my community, like I hear them say all the time. Well, guess what? They're not going to keep busting their butts and busting their balls to pacify you when you don't want to help out as a community. You know, I'm all for it. In other communities, suburbs, and whatnot, Susie gonna run outside with the quickness and Billy. Okay? Not only are they gonna tell and be witnesses, but you come up in their yard and up in their house, they got something for you. And I like to break it down to you. I am that same way. Very much so. I will come out with the quickness with my phone outside and take pictures. Mm-hmm. And call the police. I call when I see somebody breaking and entering into the house. I call when a crime has taken place. So you witness something, you need to start telling. That is the only way our communities will be safe. And it's so sad the amount of hate that people have. You know, you guys hated on him for speaking the truth. You guys speak the truth all the time and you don't care who you shit on. Y'all have no problem doing that shit. And so you're hating on him because he got the life that you always wanted, or you wanted something very similar. So you have to hate on him because he was grandfathered that money in. That makes no sense. So let's get on board and start actually putting some shit into action. Thank you once again, because I had to go there. It came to mind. Uh, have a good one, and I look forward to my next video.